Thank you so much for the quick introduction. And today we're going to be talking about a better developer workflow in infrastructure as code. And let me quickly introduce myself. My name is Obinna Odirionye, and I'm a Kubernetes engineer at Kubernetes, and also I'm the member and maintainer of CNCF Helm, working on Chat Museum. So yeah, and my pronouns are basically he and him. And you can also catch me on Twitter at Odirionye O, and then we can, in case you have any questions or you want to discuss or just hang out, let's do that. And yeah, send me your favorite memes. I love memes, more memes, or whatever you call it. Uh, so let's go back to the beginning of infrastructure as code and how it all came to be, because then in the DevOps world, we can all say that then if you wanted to ever spin up infrastructure, or you wanted to create, let's say, like 10 buckets or 10 virtual machines on the cloud, you basically maybe have to like write some bash script and then call the SDK of the cloud provider you want to tune into. And this makes your bash script really, really messy. You cannot really do that at scale. You know, there were tools like Ansible, but Ansible wasn't great enough because Ansible helps you in configuration management, right? It doesn't really talk to the cloud providers per se to spin up these instances for you. So this has really become like a huge pain in the neck over the years. And when we dive down, you also discover that there are a lot of great ISC tools right now. You have things like Terraform, you have Plumni, you have AWS Cloud Formation. It's proprietary basically for AWS resources. You have Google Cloud Deployment Manager, a proprietary software tool for Google Cloud resources, and Azure Resource Manager. So yeah, and this are pretty interesting tools that you can check out. But today, I just wanted to be focused on Terraform. That is what we're going to be talking about today. So let's talk about why Terraform. Like, why exactly did I pick Terraform, or why exactly would you use Terraform, right? One of the things I love about Terraform in relation to other tools basically is it is agentless. You don't actually need a server to run Terraform. You do not need anything. You need something as simple as the binary and your code base and then your credentials, and things start working instantaneously. Another thing why I actually love Terraform is reusable module components. So that means I can take code that I have used maybe to spin up a bucket, and I can use it anywhere around my infrastructure as code file, basically. So I could create a bucket somewhere as a module and then import it into another module and use it there. Like, it's really, really great. Like, it's a really great feature because it saves you time for rewriting that code all over and all over again. And it's amazing. That feature is really amazing. And it has a very large community. I cannot tell you how happy I am about the community that is backing Terraform. It's so, like, if you go to Stack Overflow and you have any problems, you see a lot of people are out there to support you, to help you. And also you have like the Terraform or HashiCorp group where you can actually go and then ask questions. I think it's on a discourse. So the backing is really great. And also, it is the most starred IAC tool on GitHub with over 3,000 stars and counting. This is a huge feat for Terraform. So today we're going to actually have some talk basically about developer collaboration with Terraform, and let's dive deep into that. So when we think about developer collaboration, in 2018, HashiCorp to be precise, there were some great features that were announced about Terraform that we enjoy today. And one of those features basically is state management. So what state management means is that now you or one or more developers can work on a single Terraform like code or in the repository. So you don't have to worry about having issues with your deployment, or if this infrastructure works, or sharing data across different providers. As long as you have a state and then you have it in a remote like a bucket or a place where you store it, you can actually work on these tools together. You can work on the code together. Another great thing, like I said, I love initially was reusable Terraform modules. So like I said, you can actually import information, or you can import your code from another module to another module, and it's reusable everywhere. And the great thing is the centralized Terraform plans and applies. If you ever use Terraform Cloud, you would see this feature is really dope. So that means anywhere across this, you own the deployment. So you can do plans or applies anytime you want to. So let's also go deeper. One of the things that basically got me into submitting a proposal for this conference, because I wanted to talk about the tools basically and what it does to our developers, to the DevOps engineers, or to the software engineers, especially when they're using Terraform. And one of those things basically is less visibility. Now, when you go into a larger infrastructure, what happens is you have all this so much log. Sometimes you don't know how to distinguish which from which. I've been in a scenario where I have deployed close to about 300 resources, and then the logs get really, really cumbersome. So it becomes very hard. You can't really you find it difficult focusing on what you're trying to change. And, you know, sometimes Terraform plan actually looks very, very insane. And also you have a poor review process and then less collaboration. So the poor review process comes with you barely don't know what is going to be deployed yet. You obviously have to go through this issue of going to check out the PR and then look at it and then try to run it, and then you might have to like share secrets. It gets really, really crazy from there. And then less collaboration, because then you have to share secrets, like I said. It becomes difficult because you don't know exactly what is going on in that code base. So you basically maybe going on Slack and finding out, okay, what does this do? What does this do? And so much things that has to do with the tools basically that hinders developer workflow. So there is a solution. There is a solution, and that solution is Terraform with Atlantis. And this is very, very. When I found out this tool, I was blown. Like it's what we have been waiting for. It's astonishing. And what Atlantis does is that Atlantis is a Terraform pull request automation tool. It solves the toils basically we face and gives us a better developer workflow, which I'm going to show you in a demo. I'm going to do a demo that shows you two things. First of all, the way a natural CI/CD setup in an organization and how Atlantis solves this issue basically. So this gives you increased visibility, enables better collaboration, makes your code review process very, very smooth. And I really think we need to try it out. And we're going to actually try it out today. And there's been so much talk. So I just want to jump right into the demo and I show you what I have. You can actually go to this repo and have the source code for this particular talk. So right here on my machine, you can see I have a bunch of Terraform code. So I have actually used some modules, some I have forked. So what this module or this Terraform code is supposed to do is to create a VPC on Google Cloud. Yeah, on Google Cloud. And then it has a remote state. This is where I am going to be storing the state configuration. And also it's going to create a virtual machine. And then we have an instance template basically. So the instance templates are just like a config that the VM module is going to use to tell it, okay, what kind of operating system do you want to be running? What is the size of disks you want to have, you know, and all that utilities. So I am just going to go ahead and run this first of all. So this is going to be Terraform init. So the Terraform init is to initialize the repository and all of that. And then we're going to go into Terraform plan. Terraform plan. So we're going to say exactly what resources are going to be deployed today. So that is what it's going to. So we can see it's going to create 14 resources, and there's a whole lot of logs here, basically telling us the configuration that have been set and all of that. So we can go ahead and apply that actually. We can go ahead and apply that. So we're just going to give it some time and then press yes for it to apply that. So what we are seeing here is what happens in an everyday or day-to-day in approach of a DevOps engineer. You create modules and then you apply them into you deploy them into the infrastructure you want. It could be Azure, it could be GCP, it could be AWS. I know one of the great things I love about Terraform is like it's written in Go, so it's super fast. It's a really great tool to use. So right now it's creating the VPC that we want to use. Real quick. Okay. Just gonna give it some time. So right now it's creating the virtual machine. So it's done. It's done. Now this is the great thing. So now right here, I wrote this custom tool that basically exports the backend. So if I come into project, you will see a backend.tf file here. So what this does basically is to allow me push my state file, which is located here, to a Google Cloud bucket. So I'm just going to initialize this again, and then we're going to see that. So it's going to push that, and this place automatically will become empty. So let's see that in action. So yes, I want to push that in. Great. So now we can see this place is empty, but we still have a backup of it. So we're going to push this now to GitHub, and then we're going to see how that works in GitHub. So I'm just going to quickly go back to here, and then I'm going to copy this and push to Git. I'm just going to create my secret real quick. Terraform, and then my secret service key. Yes. My secret key, I'm going to add it to actions, and it's going to be called, and I'm going to paste my service account name. So I'm particularly a big fan of using this. I'm just going to say this, a picture copy, just to avoid this. I'm going to add secret. Okay, so what is going to happen is I am going to update this now, and I'm going to push it. Yes, and I'm going to say update. So now we can see that a CI has kicked in, and then it's going to do a plan for us. And then after the plan, it's going to apply, it's going to check for the code. If there's any issue, it's going to let us know. Let's see. It's going to do a format check also on it. Okay, so you can see it's actually now doing a plan. Great. So this is what we have issue here. Now imagine if you're working on a big infrastructure. Let's look at this. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to create another branch, and I'm going to call that branch an update branch. Okay, already exists. Let's change. Let me do this. I'm going to say checkout, then B, and I'm just going to say, what do I call it? Talks. Yeah. So let's call it that. And then I'm going to update this real quick. I'm going to update the infrastructure. So if I go back and I say, I'm going to change the, let's say this, I'm going to change this, and I'm going to say, okay, deploy Ubuntu 18. Okay, and I'm going to ship this real quick. So what's going to happen is I'm going to create a PR for this. exactly. And then it's going to, so what this is going to do now is going to just run an init and a plan, and then show me what is going to be deployed. So this is great, but the problem with this is as you keep on going bigger on your infrastructure, it becomes very, very cumbersome because the logs get so much, and then you might not necessarily know exactly what needs to be deployed. You could miss out something. It's going to be very, very hard to debug from there. So these are all the things it is going to deploy right now, but this can actually get really, really difficult because then as your infrastructure goes wider, you don't need to see all these states, all of that. Your main information starts from here. So we are going to solve this issue because this can become very, very tedious, and you honestly don't want that, especially when your team is growing bigger and bigger and bigger. And mind you, one thing I also wanted to talk about is the Terraform. I'm still going to show you the Terraform locking in this demo. So for now, I'm just going to do this. I'm not going to merge this now. I am going to show you how Atlassian works. So the first thing I'm going to do is to start up my Atlassian server. And it's like, first of all, I need to create a tunnel. And so I'm going to just do split down right, not this. I'm going to close this real quick, close. I'm going to do split down, down, yes. So here, I am going to actually start up a tunnel. I'm using a local tunnel if you want to. It's a great tool, and I'm going to be using on 4141. So what I'm going to do right now is I'll copy this URL and then add it to my repository webhook. And this is very, very great. So if you are doing this, please, on the setup, you can just check out the README I have added, and then you should be able to see the information on how to set this up. So I'm going to update this. Yes. And I'm going to come back in here, and I'm going to start my Atlassian server. So what I'm going to do is to just say make run. I have written an automation tool for that. That should solve that. So I'm just going to copy this, and then I'm going to paste it, update my env. My env, yes, with this. Before I continue, I also need to change it because I'm running from my system. So I need to change where the credentials are basically going to be stored. So if I go to my Google Cloud providers, my credentials, I'm going to change here. I'm going to change display. I'm going to do this, and I'm going to uncomment this, or rather comment it out here. And I'm going to take this also. So you can use like a virtual machine, a dedicated virtual machine to do this, it's fine. And also I'm going to have to go to backend.tf, and I'm going to update this too. I'm going to comment this out, and I'm going to update this. I'm just going to do Terraform format to make sure that if there are any issues, it just does that, and voila. So I'm going to push this. Great. So we can actually go ahead and then start up our server. So if I do make run, so we can see that our server is actually started now, and we can see that here. I'm going to go here, and I'm going to comment on this PR, and I'm going to say Atlantis plan. I'm going to comment this. What it's going to do right now is that it's going to send, it failed. Okay, debugging starts now. It's locked by another. Oh, I see. Let's see. Okay. Okay, plan is great. So yeah, about. So now what we can see here is what exactly is going to be added into our infrastructure and what is going to be removed. So from here now, you can see it is way easier. I did not share any secret to anybody. Any user can come right here and then see exactly what they are going to be deploying. And you know, it has this nice user interface where you can actually see, like there's a dashboard here. So you can actually see what is being locked and who is using it at this moment in time. As you can see here, very great UI. And this is basically what just happens. So this is exactly how we solve this issue. So your developers can now come in right here and then see exactly what will be removed, what will be added. And then you can still go ahead and use Atlantis apply. What is going to happen right now is that it's going to go ahead and apply this infrastructure. So let's do that. Comment. And then it's going to kick up. So we do apply. And then we can see it's currently applying. Now, the great thing about lock now with Atlantis is that if somebody comes into this PR and then puts like an Atlassian again, and then puts Atlantis, sorry, and then puts plan, it should not work because another process is running. So you really don't want it to mess up the infrastructure. So if I come here and I put plan, it basically shows you this. So until this is done, which is the apply, before we can actually go ahead and then run any other command. So you can see basically has failed it because it's not going to run it. Another utility is using it. And if you come here, like I said, you also see that. So this is one of the great things about using Atlantis. Now, if we just do that, and then we're just going to allow it to apply, it's still applying, it's still applying, it's still running. I can see it is done. Great. So now we can now see the information we want. We can see what was destroyed, we can see what was created, and then we can now see it was complete. This is the great thing about Atlantis. And if you even go down, now you can now finally even check out the plan, and then it should work. So if I go back and put Atlantis plan, and then comment this, we should see the plan kick in again. So there are a lot of powerful things you can do with Atlantis. You should check out their documentation. You can set up approvals. You can do great things. You can set up workspaces with Atlantis. It's a really, 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 really great tool. And it just runs at the background here. So as you see, it just keeps on going and going and going and going. It's really, 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 really great for collaboration with your developers. As you can see, no changes are required for the infrastructure. So we can go ahead and then merge this into our code base and then confirm merge. And it's done. And then you can delete the branch. So this is one of the most interesting things about Atlantis that I really, really love when you're setting up your workflow for your developers as DevOps engineer, or even as a software engineer. So that is it. One of the things I want to really say is I believe this is not the end to a better workflow, because I mean, we will keep evolving, more features will be out, and then we'll be able to make better use case of the tools we want. But I believe also that it is only a means to achieve it, and we are just scratching the surface of IAC. The best is definitely yet to come. So thank you very much for listening to my talk, and have a wonderful day. Bye-bye.